Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and we've got a deal. We're back in the 90% club. It's not the 90% club I thought we were going to be in when I started the 90% club, but we're back in the 90% club. Reports again from Christian Falk in Germany that Manchester United have got a 90% chance of signing Hakan Calhanoglu of AC Milan. So we'll be talking about that tonight. We'll also be talking about interesting comments from Angel Gomes, Eric Bailly and the January transfer window and why we shouldn't be too concerned about this potential negativity that it won't happen. Welcome to Sinead O'Donnell, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. But can I just say as well, the show is sponsored by Boohoo Man tonight. I'm very excited to say that as today is Black Friday, Boohoo Man have up to 80% off everything across the boohooman.com store. As an extra treat, you can also use the code SOCIAL10 and get an extra 10% off. As I'm sure you already noticed, I'm wearing some of the Boohoo Man clobber and I'm sure you can agree I'm looking dashing as always. And as it's Black Friday, it would be wrong of us not to give away another £800 Boohoo Man voucher for one lucky United Stand winner. All you've got to do is head to the description, click the link and fill in the entry form, and you have until 12 p.m. on Monday the 30th of November to get your entry in. At that time, all the entries will be counted and the winner of the £800 Boohoo Man voucher will be chosen at random. The winner will be announced on Monday evening show, so make sure to tune in and see if you won. Links in the video description for that. Boohoo Man. Right. Let's get back with the show. So Hakan Calhanoglu. Currently playing for AC Milan, 26 years of age. Wand of a right foot. Not wand of a left foot. Wand of a right foot. Do we still have the wand of a left foot emoji? If you remember, you should be able to see the football boot with the wand above it. It's one of my favourite emojis, actually. But that's a wand of a left foot. This is a wand of a right foot. Brilliant free kick taker. Had a really good end to the season, actually, last season with AC Milan and Zlatan. Out of contract next summer. Now, he's an odd one. I don't think we would talk... I mean, I remember doing a show with Draughty 5 years ago talking about Hakan Calhanoglu when he was at Leverkusen. And, Draughty sent me the graphic tonight. He is a good player. His free kicks are insane, as somebody just said there. He is a very, very good player. But he's not a player I think we would have sat here in late November talking about Hakan Calhanoglu coming to Manchester United if it wasn't for, to be fair, Sport Build Christian Falk. We spoke about this about a month ago. He's mentioned it again today and said there's a 90% chance that Hakan Calhanoglu will be coming to Manchester United next transfer window, in the summer, sorry. So I think this is probably going to happen. And, I do because... Christian Falk is somebody that a lot of people became aware of last summer. He's been on our show. I know he goes on other shows as well. That's great. But he actually, if you've been following him for a long time like I have, he's actually very, very accurate. He was very accurate about Havertz. He was very accurate about Bellingham to Dortmund, Haaland to Dortmund. When everyone thought he was coming to United, he said Dortmund. So he's obviously got some good information here. And to be saying 90%, as somebody who said 90% and it didn't happen... I don't think Christian Falk's going to get this wrong. 90% is very, very high. I mean, 90% is basically what most of us were with Sancho, and it should have happened, and it didn't. So Hakan Calhanoglu to Manchester United, it's such a weird one for somebody then to be saying it's a 90% chance of happening. It's probably going to happen, and I suppose that's the interesting thing. Hey, Mark, really enjoy this channel, says Stephen Maltz. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it probably is going to happen, and the interesting thing about this is I wouldn't be opposed to this. I think this is not a bad deal for Manchester United. He's 27. He'd be 27 by the time he signs for us because he's 27 next February. But he's not a fast player, but he's sort of Juan Mata. And if Lingard goes or Mata goes, then Hakan Calhanoglu coming in for free. On similar, probably a little bit less wages actually. I mean, Mata's on 150 grand a week. I don't think Hakan Calhanoglu would be on that. So, I think it's a decent. To me, it's not Lingard. It's Mata's replacement. If Mata goes and you bring Calhanoglu in, it strengthens the squad. He's 27. And I don't think he'd be expecting to be in the first team, but he'd certainly give us a little bit of depth. I think it's a good signing. I mean, Max Bowers says he's a PR stunt. It could be a PR stunt. It could be what we were talking about the other night about Soleil and Bayern Munich and Christian Falk and that. And look, apparently Juventus are interested, but he doesn't want to go there. There is talk that AC Milan might get him on a new contract, but Manchester United are there waiting to do the deal. I think there's clearly something somewhere that's being fed out. And I know over the last few weeks there's been talk of advanced talks with his agent and Manchester United. So something must be going on. And you know, if it does happen, I think the one thing I would say is that it shows foresight and planning from Manchester United, which they don't normally do. These sort of deals remind me of Rabiot going to Juventus and Aaron Ramsey going to Juventus. Players that are out of contract, but Juventus acted very quickly to get them. And look, we're seeing it with David Alaba. David Alaba is being chased by PSG and Chelsea, not by Manchester United, unfortunately. But, you know, you can't knock it. I think it would be a decent signing. This makes sense because it seems Mata will go and also Jesse's out of contract in the summer, says Liam Honeyben. Exactly. If we lose both of those, it'd be a good one. I don't like... Hakan is currently on 78k a week, says Vishal. So, yeah, you know, if Juan Mata leaves Manchester United next summer, 150 grand a week he's on, you get Hakan Calhanoglu in and you just pay him 100 grand a week or 120 grand a week. You've saved yourself money and you've got a player who's 27. So it makes sense, and he would offer us more than Mata could, to be honest. Hello, Mark. I've been watching the United stand for a while. I was thinking, why don't we go someone like Dominique Sabotsai? I can't do his name, and he's young and up and coming instead of Calhanoglu, says Obed. Well, I think the attraction of Calhanoglu is the fact that he's free. Smokey123 says, I want Jesse Lingard to stay. Malan has bought a new left winger. What rating is he on FIFA? I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. I really don't know. But he's a good player and he can play a number of positions as well. He can play left wing, he can play right wing. I say left wing, right wing. I'd say he's more of a sort of left attacking midfielder, right attacking midfielder, centre attacking midfielder. He's you know when you cross your legs and you catch something in between? Oh, I don't want to move him back. Bloody hell. Take my breath away. Hey. God. Good job I've already had kids. That is painful. It's totally taken my breath away. Top Gun. Composure. Right. He's actually quite an energetic player. He can play box-to-box as well. So, a little bit like Van der Beek here. I think he could play the box-to-box role. So, yeah, I think he's an interesting player, and we'll see where that goes with that. We'll see. What's your plums, Mark? Says Wayne Finnegan. Yeah, good evening, Mark and the gang. What's the score prediction for Sunday? Says Foxy. I've gone with a 1-1 draw. We will be taking some of your questions in a moment, so make sure you got your questions ready because it is Friday night. I like to do the questions on a Friday night, but there's still some things to talk about. So look, I wanted to just bring this in because I think some people this afternoon are thinking United are not going to do business in January transfer window. I can tell you now, Manchester United are looking to do business in January. What they're doing is they're playing low key. They're not going to go into the January transfer. You know, like people this afternoon were like, oh, Ollie said there won't be any business. That James Cooper said it'll be a quiet January. Like, what do you think Man United are going to do? Walk into January with a big wad of cash saying, who wants it? They're not going to do that. They're going to go into the January transfer window and they're going to go, we're not looking to do any business. That's what they're going to do. Because the reality is they will do some business if the right business is there to be done. But they're not, you know, to be honest with you, Manchester United, a lot of our targets are summer targets. You know, they still think they can do Jadon Sancho. They would like to try and get up in Meccano. So a lot of our targets are summer targets. However, you look at two examples I could give you that we have been linked to. Badiashile at Monaco. Well, Monaco are desperate to get in the Champions League. I don't think they're even in Europe this season. So look, that situation could change and he could become an option there. Pau Torres at Villarreal, you know, third in La Liga at the moment. They'll want Champions League football, which maybe mean they won't want to sell. But then again, what's their financial situations? You know, Lyon are another club, financial situation. So I wouldn't say that Manchester United are not going to do business in January. I just think that they're not going to go into January spouting that they are going to do business. Deals can be done and we have got the cash. And I think that there are deals that can be done in January. And also, there are deals that can be done in January for the players to come in the summer as well. There are players out of contract, etc. Is there any chance Calvert-Lewin will wear a United shirt one day, says Jam Bon Jovi? There's always a chance, Jam. There's always a chance. And what formation would you play for Southampton, says Tom J? I would play 4-2-3-1. Is there any truth with Dean Henderson going out on loan to Celtic in January, says Ewan Black? I don't think he'll go to Celtic. I think that would be a massive step down for somebody like Dean Henderson to go to Celtic. With all due respect to Celtic, He needs to be playing Premier League football, I think. Please smash a like on the video if you're watching, by the way. Fitting Calhanoglu is the new matter, but half the speed, says Jazzy now. And 90% in the chat are Turkish, says Salil Sath. And lots of journalists saying the Sancho deal will be very hard to do. How realistic do you think it is? Loz, I am 30, and if you are watching from Turkey, very welcome to the channel. Subscribe if you're new and get involved. Calhanoglu would be very welcome. I would welcome him at the club as a replacement for Mata. I think it makes a lot of sense financially, and I actually think he's a very good player who would effectively be a player that would probably be a bench player, but ultimately could force his way in to the first team, which is I like those sort of players. I wish Juan Mata was 7 years younger, and I think he'd be a brilliant player to have in the club, but he's not anymore. So I think he could be really good. He plays off the left, says MD Khaled. So yeah, if we want someone like this, we should be going for Jack Grealish, says George Kyle. Money, George. That's why. That's the problem. That is the problem with that one. Just before we start taking some of your questions as well, Angel Gomes has been speaking today as well. Probably enough time for him past to say this. So what he's basically said is there was a very good offer. Remember Angel Gomes left in the summer on a free. A lot of people were not happy about that. He's basically come out and said there was a very good offer on the table. You know, I've got lots of friends and family in Manchester. There was a very good offer on the table. I could have signed the contract, maybe gone on loan, but I just felt that the sacrifice was right to make now for a fresh start. I wanted to play first team football. So you've got to... There's two things I'd take away from that. One, I think he was pissed off, really. He says, I still watch United. I watch all the games. I watch the under-18s, everything. He loves the club. But I just think he probably looked at Greenwood and thought, you know what, I've not been given the opportunities. And it's a little bit the way Pogba left all those years ago. You know, Pogba wanted to play in the first team and he saw one midfield, I think, where we played Phil Jones in the midfield and the Raphael brothers or something like that. And I think that was it for Pogba. He was like, I'm off. And I think with Gomes, the same thing happened. He probably saw last season a lot of people, Juan Mata, Andres Pereira, Jesse Lingard, before Bruno came in, those three were playing as number 10 and they were all shit. And Gomes never got a chance. And I think he probably thought, you know what, I'm not going to get the chance I want here. I'm going to go. So you can't knock Gomes for that. He still loves the club. He said he got the offer, a very good offer, but he just wanted to move on. So fair play to him. And he could end up being another Jadon Sancho who goes abroad and does really well. He's not doing bad at Boavista at the moment, is he? So interesting to see what happens with Angel Gomes. He's an interesting one there. Also want to say that Hassan Holt has been talking, the Southampton coach. We're playing them at the weekend. He was asked about links to the Manchester United job. He says, I don't do social media and I don't read news, but I'm focused on Southampton. We've got a long project here and it's an exciting one. I think he's a good coach. I don't think Man United would even look at him, to be honest with you. But, if Ollie did end up leaving, I think he would be a very good coach, and that's what you want. You want that. Calhanoglu is 26 at the moment, Charlie, but if he came to Manchester United, he would be 27 because he wouldn't be coming before the summer, and he's 27 in February. So when I say he's 27, I mean when we get him, he would be 27. Fosu Mensah contract as well. I don't know what people think about this. We've spoken about it before, but apparently a lot of people are not very happy about Fosu Mensah getting a new contract. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about that? And Eric Bailly's been talking about Mourinho and how Mourinho still stays in contact with him, and you don't normally get that with other coaches, and he signed for United under Mourinho, and Mourinho said he was going to be a big part. It got me thinking, I couldn't remember how much Eric Bailly played under Mourinho. I think the first season he did, and then he started to have his injury problems. But Eric Bailly's going to be really important to us. I don't know how fit he is. I know he's back training, but Eric Bailly's really important to us. Especially PSG game. I think Eric Bailly could be important in that game. I actually think Eric Bailly will be ahead of Axel Tuanzebe now. I think if he wants to rest Lindelof, he'll play Bailly as long as he gets fit. The problem with Bailly is just how long he's going to stay fit. Somebody just said it in the live comments there. Do you think Eric Bailly could go to Spurs then? To be honest with you, I don't think it would be a bad deal for Manchester United to let Eric Bailly go to Spurs. If I'm absolutely bluntly honest, and I like Eric Bailly as much as anybody else, and I know he's loved by a lot of people, but I would, if somebody gave us 20 million, I'd go, thank you, bye-bye. See you later. I would, because he will always be injured. And if somebody wants to take that risk on, go for it. I mean, the funny thing is, he probably would go to... I'll tell you what, I'm taking my life into my own hands. I've just folded my legs again. Crossed my legs again. It was all right that time. It was textbook. But it's still sore from the previous fold leg. Anyway, the reality is Eric Bailly would probably go to Spurs and then stay fit for 5 years, wouldn't he? And be very, very good. The best centre-back in the world. Keep up the nice content, says Ed Woodward. Thank you very much. Hi, Mark. Do you think Kessie from AC Milan would be a good signing for a defensive midfielder, says Aidan Coffey? I don't know. I don't know with Kessie. I don't know. Do you think we will pay the cyber attackers, says Ryan? I don't know. And could you explain the Pogba and Martial agenda of them being called lazy, no passion for the club? Many people would like them to be gone, and they get absolutely hammered all the time, says Chikorito Hernandez. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right. I think Anthony Martial and Paul Pogba do have an element in our fan base that just will never like them. We've got it a little bit with Bruno. I just think on those things, make your own mind up. But the reality is Anthony Martial is a very important player for United. Bruno's an indispensable player, and Paul Pogba is, who knows? I think Paul Pogba is just a question mark, isn't he? He really is, and we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Thank you for the super chat, Magic Eye. Mark, the problem with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is that he plays free attacking football in the Champions League because he isn't afraid to lose. Low expectations, but in the Premier League he's terrified to lose. Who's your CDM? I would like Declan Rice. He's clearly going to go to Chelsea, so I don't know why we couldn't do that deal. I think, people have mentioned a few others. God, I can't know why I'm yawning so much tonight. Lemar, or however you pronounce it, from Leipzig. I'm shit with names. Zakaria has been mentioned. I like that Samori as well. I mean, nobody seems to be linked to Samori anymore, and I don't know why. Kimmich is very good, Wyatt. I just don't think we could do that deal. And you look like Phil Jones, says Joash. I look nothing like Phil Jones. You're an absolute prat. I've never been called Phil Jones. I look nothing like Phil Jones. I'll acknowledge people I do look like, but I don't look like Phil Jones. Calvin Phillips, says AJ. Calvin Phillips would be a very good CDM. He's proven himself to be Premier League proven. I don't think many players will go from Leeds to Manchester United, and I think you need to understand the way that works. I don't think we would do that, to be honest with you. It's Lie Mayor, says Irex. It's Lie Mayor, okay? Thanks for the super chat, Daz OW. The board won't go for Alaba as he's asking for 400k a week. That's why Bayern won't give him a contract. Chelsea and PSG will pay that. Would you give in 400k a week, says Dazo. You know what? I've got to applaud that comment from Dazo, because I'm not aware of that, and that is very important. If Alaba wants 400k a week, he can want. Literally, you don't do that deal. He is out of contract. He is going to want lots of money. He's a Champions League winner. He's a Bundesliga winner. He's 28. He's in his prime. He's not going to cost you any money. And his agent, I suppose, has got every chance, every right to ask for that. Because if Bayern Munich was selling David Alaba with 3 years left on his contract, you would want at least 60 million. So you're not paying 60 million, so why not ask for 400k a week? So United can't pay that, to be fair. Mark, we should try to sign Matty and Sean Longstaff. They'd complete our midfield, says Genwell Balanderes. And thanks for the contribution from Thomas Harper. Fly questions in, actually. We'll move on to those now. Looking forward to what you've got to say. But Hassan Calhanoglu, 90% chance he'll sign for Manchester United, according to Christian Falk of Sport Build. It's not the first time he's said this. He's said it about 4 times in the last month, so there's clearly something around that. He would be a free signing, by the way. Victor Liang says, hi Mark, will Donny leave Man United to go to Juve? Not a chance. Absolutely not a chance. I mentioned this afternoon on Ollie's press conference reaction. I thought it was a really good press conference from Ollie. Not necessarily all his answers, but I thought the questions he was asked were really good. You can check that out on the channel. But there has been a story floating around that Juventus would be interested in Donny van de Beek. But you know what? If Manchester United wanted to sell Donny van de Beek, there'd be a lot of clubs interested, both in Europe and the Premier League. He's a very, very good player, but we won't be letting Donny van de Beek go. He's a fan favourite. Never going to happen. Ronaldo deal, says DK. What about it? What about it? There's nothing to announce. We spoke about it a couple of times. How's your Fantasy Premier League looking, says Stump? I forgot to do it again. So, shit, to be honest with you. I'm losing interest in Fantasy Premier League. I tell you what, very, very quickly, Fantasy Premier League, shove it up your arse. I'm bored of it this year. When I used to play Fantasy Premier League, you'd do it by 11:30 on a Saturday morning. They've got all these Friday night shit games now, and I'm like, I went to have a look at my Fantasy Premier League about 20 to 7, and it's closed. It's closed for the week because there's a bloody Friday night game. Shove it up your arse. This ain't Fantasy Premier League. This is stupid Premier League. You can't do that. You can't keep having Friday night football. It's rubbish. I'm not happy about it. Who would you want as a centre-back realistically, and who is your Sancho alternative? Says Hero Lawrence. Thanks for all the members as well. Marcus Prusy, Flex47, and I saw somebody else there in there. Saul Goodman. Nice to see the little badges next to your name. Thanks for joining the members club, lads and ladies. My ideal centre-back. Well, who would you... No, let's throw it back. It's Friday night, everybody. Smash a like on the video. The weekend starts here. I can't wait for the Sunday afternoon against Southampton. I think it's going to be a really good game. I'm excited about that. Putting the Christmas tree up tomorrow as well. Bada ding, bada boom. But if I could pick my ideal centre-back would be... I'd like Alaba. Probably not going to happen. I'd like Upamecano. Probably not going to happen. So beyond those two... I wouldn't mind Pau Torres or Badiashile. I wouldn't have minded Gabriel, to be honest. As long as it fits the profile of the right sort of centre-back, somebody who's, relatively quick and offers us something a little bit different, then I'm quite happy to go for that sort of player. But Koulibaly, he ain't never leaving, is he? Never going to leave. As for my Jadon Sancho alternative, again, look, I'd be very happy with Chukwueze from Villarreal. I'd be very happy with St. Maximin from Newcastle, Adama Traore. There's probably 3 or 4 others I'd be quite happy with. I'm not obsessed about the Jadon Sancho deal. Manchester United are. I was obsessed about it in the summer because we were led to believe it was going to happen and it was very, very exciting. I'm bored of it now. I almost feel like if he'd signed at the end of the transfer window, I would have been bored of it. They dragged it out for so long. They sapped all the enjoyment out of it. They turned it into some elongated business transaction. And to be honest with you, I don't actually... I think it's affected Sancho. I think it's affected the United fans. I just don't think it's a deal I'm that interested in anymore. I mean, at the end of the day, we need a right winger. There's plenty of right wingers out there. And... as long as they're decent and they fit the bill for Man United, let's just get a right winger in. It doesn't need to be Jadon Sancho anymore. And I think when we were trying to buy Sancho in the summer, it was after the momentum of the end to the season, and you were like, bring Sancho in, we might challenge for the title. What we've seen this season is that bring Sancho in, nothing much will change. We'll have a slightly better right winger, but we'll still have a crap centre-back pairing and no specialist CDM. And to be honest with you, what's more important, a really good right winger or a centre-back and a CDM? Well, the clue is in the word centre, because that's where most things happen. Centre-back, CDM. So right winger's great, but we need a centre-back and a CDM. Cheers from Peru. We need to get Camavinga, says Jose Buster. I think that Camavinga would be very welcome at Manchester United. I just don't think it's a deal we can do. You're talking about one of the best midfield young talents in the world. I don't think United can do that deal. I don't think we're anywhere near competent enough to do that deal. 150 million to make us title contending side, Mark. Who would you spend it on, says Billy Fogarty? Well, I'd get Upamecano for about 50 million quid. I'd get a CDM, whether it be a Zakaria or a Declan Rice. You'd probably get them for 50 or 60. You leave yourself about 40, 50 million to get a right winger in that could be St. Maximum or someone like that. I think 3 players I'd go for would be a centre-back, a CDM and a right winger, and I'd try and get the best I could for around 50 million each. Trust the motto, Van der Beek every week, says Thomas Harper. And what do you think of Glenn Murray coming to United, says Andrade? No, that's depressing news. It wouldn't happen and he's not welcome. So, sorry Glenn, you're not welcome. Dortmund have to lower their Sancho price. His market value went down by 17 million in the latest transfer market update, says Sihi. Well, they don't and they won't. I think Dortmund have... you know what? I think Dortmund are a little bit like that... that person who lives in a wooden house and the estate agent is trying to buy that house because it's their dream house. And Dortmund want £100 million for that wooden house, and Manchester United won't pay them that money. So I think Dortmund would rather burn that house down than let Manchester United buy it for cheap. I think it's become it's not a football deal anymore. It's just a stubborn deal between two egos. And Manchester United are wasting their time trying to win that deal, because it is just, for me, I just think it's... Dortmund should lower the price. Yes, they should, but I don't think they will. Imagine we have a decent board and good at transfers and got Haaland, Sancho, Upamecano and Didi. Is that good enough to challenge the league and the Champions League, says Chicharito Hernandez? Oh, definitely. Haaland, Sancho, Upamecano and Ndidi. You've got a centre-back, a CDM, a striker and a right winger. Look, yeah, you'd expect a challenge with those. Which signing that Chelsea made last transfer window will you say make us challengers, says Yazza Said. I think Ziyech. Play Ziyech on the right-hand side. Next to Bruno with Rashford on the left. Put Ziyech there. Yeah. Havertz is good, but you don't need Havertz. Werner is good. We don't need Werner. I think Ziyech off the right-hand side would make us a lot better, yeah. Who would you take at United? Kane or Vardy, says Ewan Black. Easy. Harry Kane. I've been so impressed with Harry Kane this season. His build-up play is magnificent. Frankie de Jong, Grealish or Upamecano, says Harry. Well, Frankie de Jong could play as the CDM. I think I'd go de Jong for and put him in CDM, yeah. But good question, though. Hey, Mark, hope we can get all of the transfer targets, but mind your Glazers and Woodward, says Adrian's Adventer. And would you take Grealish over Sancho at the moment, says Youngie195. I think I probably would, you know. I never thought I'd say that, but I think I would. I think the only thing that would make me go Sancho is the fact that he can play off the right. Could Grealish play off the right? You could move Rashford there. But I still think that's 3 yawns. I'm going for a record here. If I do 4, I think it's a record. CDM and centre-back, I think, are very important. Jonathan Tah could even play with pink boots, says Philip Parr. Phil Jones is the best CDM in the squad, says Andreas Wiltso. Apparently, Ollie did say today that Phil Jones is going to be out till after Christmas. I mean, let me. I don't want to depress you here, but Phil Jones wasn't injured at the start of lockdown in March. He's never been fit again. What did Phil Jones do on lockdown? What was he doing on lockdown to get injured on lockdown and never get back? He's been injured since March. If I tell you what, if he was a cat and you took him to the vets, they'd say, "Shall we put him down?" Like in a footballing career point of view, you know, he gets linked to like West Ham and Newcastle. To be in absolute honesty, Steve Bruce, David Moyes, why would you buy him? He's never fit. Like, it's nothing to do with whether he's a good footballer or not now. He's never fit in a footballing sense. Surely Manchester United have got to get a point where they pay his contract off, which is stupid because look, whoever sanctioned giving Phil Jones a 5-year contract a year ago is an idiot. Like, did they not look at his injury record? They're an absolute clown. And, you know, if we paid his contract off, I think he'd get about 12 million. So you can understand why we're not. But we've been saddled there of our own doing. Fair play to Phil Jones. You know what? It's not his fault he's injury prone. It's not. It isn't. I don't think Phil Jones gets injured on purpose. He's injury prone. And it's not his fault if you were injury prone and somebody said, "Do you want a 5-year contract on 4 million a year?" Do you think you'd go, "You know what? Morally, I don't feel comfortable with this. I'd eat the contract. You know, I'd do anything with that contract." So it's not Phil Jones' fault he's injury prone, and it's not Phil Jones' fault he was given a massive contract. But whoever gave it to him, bloody idiots. Why do you believe Spurs and Mourinho won't win the league? And if Mourinho does win the league, is that damning on United fans and the club? Says Yazza Said. I haven't said that. I've said Spurs that are quite I think Spurs have got Chelsea on Sunday. They've got Arsenal. They've got City. Oh no, they beat City and Liverpool over the next 3 or 4 weeks. If they get through those fixtures and they're still near the top of the league, Spurs can win the league. I said Spurs are my dark horse to win the league. How do you feel about the Leeds CDM? Dissicle. I think Calvin Phillips is good. I think if people understand the rivalry between Leeds and Man United, they'll know that won't happen. Despite all these transfer rumours, I think the only Manchester United deal will be a sponsorship deal, says Genwell. And why do our players not know how to cross? Beckham used to spend 10 hours a day practicing his crosses. Do we really not have a special coach to teach the Prats how to whip a cross in, says Sam. I think that I bet Bruno hasn't met Jones till now, says Sorib. I think that with Manchester United's wing problems, and I've alluded to this a few times, and you know most of you are going to know what I'm going to say. Marcus Rashford is not a winger, and Mason Greenwood are not wingers. They're not. They're too selfish. And when you say selfish, there's always negative connotations with that because people will think, well, you're calling them selfish. That's quite a nasty thing to say. But as an attacker, a selfish trait can be a good thing. If you're not selfish, you're not going to score goals. You know. If Alan Shearer wasn't selfish, he wouldn't have scored all those goals in the Premier League. You've got to be selfish because if you're always looking to play a pass, you're not going to shoot. So the problem is United have got attackers playing on the wing, So Marcus Rashford's mentality and Mason Greenwood's mentality is to score a goal. It's not to whip a cross in for Cavani or Martial. So we don't actually have wide players who are looking to create. And that's the problem. They're good. Mason Greenwood can score goals off the right and Rashford can do it off the left. But they're not looking to create chances. And I'd be very surprised. When we played against Istanbul on Tuesday, everyone said Cavani played really well, which he did. But if Martial had played like that, they would have said he was shit because he didn't score. It's because Cavani is a new shiny toy that people are going, his link-up play was brilliant. Martial does that as well. But if Martial doesn't score, he's had a shit game. Well, Cavani didn't score. Did he have a shit game? No. Neither of them do. The reality is, if you're the number 9 for Manchester United, you get very little chances. Name me a really good chance Cavani had against Istanbul when we played really well, and he played really well. Well, the reason he's not getting loads of chances is because if Bruno doesn't create it, he's not going to get it off the wings. So, and Martial, when he plays on the left, he's not really that creative either. So for Cavani to do really well at United and Martial to do really well at United, you've got to create chances for them. And that's why we need a right winger. We need somebody who's Adama Traore, I know he's not doing very well for Wolves, but he has, over the last couple of years, got amazing assist stats and he looks to put a cross in. And Jimenez has benefited from it. I think Adama Traore, if we could get him at United and get him playing well, he'd be brilliant for someone like Cavani. Is Maguire the new Phil Jones? Clumsy, says Megan's dad. And all our wide players drive into the penalty box. Only crosser in the team is Tellez. Poor Cavani, no service. Aiden G. Basically what I've just said there. It's a big issue for United. It is a big issue. We don't put enough creativity into the box, but it's not a surprise when you analyse because Rashford, Greenwood, Martial. Also, Mata is playing off the right-hand side and he's left-footed, so he's not going to whip across in with his right foot. He's always going to come inside. So, yeah, we don't actually... Mata's creative, but we don't actually move the right way, if you know what I mean. Would you swap Rashford or Martial for Haaland, says Mark Dobby. Oh, member of the Members Club as well. Join if you want to click the join button and get your badge next to your name like Mark. I'll ask you lot, would you swap Martial or Rashford for Haaland, put the name of the person, just say no for neither, or put the name of the player that you would? Do you see us making top 4? Who misses out? City, says Yazza Said. City will get top 4. Liverpool will get top 4. Chelsea will get top 4. It's between Man United, Spurs and whoever else. So it's going to be difficult. I think we need to buy in January. Need Neres, perfect right winger, quick and highly technical. Would prefer him for 40 million than spending 100 on Sancho, says Nicholas Bentner. I'll give you the Goldbridge handshake for that one. You're right. There are players out there. It's not about Sancho for me anymore. It's about 40 to 50 million quid on a right winger. I tell you now, if United could do something for Adama Traore, they should do it. I think we need to stop thinking of world beaters in every position and look at players that are going to improve us. If you've got a right winger that can put crosses in, he doesn't need to be the world's best. Not everybody's got the world's best players. We've already got Bruno, who's going to be one of the world's best centre attacking midfielders for the next 3 years. You've got people like Anthony Martial, who's very talented as well. Your right winger doesn't have to be a world beater. It's just in Sancho it was going to be very exciting because we potentially had a world beater there. But it doesn't have to do that. Go and get Adama Traore. Go and get David Neres. Go and get somebody who's going to play on the right wing and put decent crosses into the box. It's very important. Emily Derry says, I'd go for Pau Torres, Adama Traore and Zakaria. Not especially optimistic though. Again, you'd probably do that for 150 million, Emily. And so let's have a look. No, Silky Sean says I wouldn't swap Rashford or Martial for for Haaland. Ice Pop says he'd swap Martial. A few people saying Martial 100%. Yep. Rashford. Not many people are saying Rashford. Rick Blanton says Rashford. So, would I swap Martial or Rashford for Haaland? I would. And I would probably... no, actually, I don't think I would. What am I saying? I definitely wouldn't swap Martial for Haaland. I love Martial, and I love Martial. I love Rashford. I wouldn't swap either of them. Actually, you know what? That might sound really naive and loyal, but I wouldn't swap Rashford or Martial for Haaland. And I'd love Haaland to be at United, but I wouldn't swap either of those two players. I'd swap Pogba for Haaland. I'd swap McTominay for Haaland. They wouldn't do that. No, but I would swap Pogba for Haaland. I'd swap Maguire for Haaland. And this is not because I hate these players. I'm just telling you players I would swap for Haaland. I'd swap Wan-Bissaka for Haaland because I think Wan-Bissaka's very good, but he's a right back and Haaland's one of the best strikers coming through in the world. So, I'd swap Fred for Haaland. I love Fred. Name me some. I'd swap Luke Shaw for Haaland. Everyone knows I like Luke Shaw, but Luke Shaw's a left back, Haaland's a forward. I wouldn't swap Bruno. I wouldn't swap Rashford. I wouldn't swap Martial for Haaland. No way. I wouldn't swap De Gea for Haaland. There's only about 4 or 5 I wouldn't, but you picked the wrong 2 for me there. What about Marco Asensio over Sancho? I'm not a big fan of Asensio or Isco. I'm not. I think they are players that they always get touted about, but I'm not. They are good players, but I just don't think that they're the sort of quality that United need. And people probably agree with me on that. Welcome to the Members Club, Kieran Casa. Remember, it's not the 5th of November. I am wearing my Boohoo Man top. It is Black Friday. The sales are on. You can get you can get 80% off plus an additional 10% off with Boohoo Man on their Black Friday sales. The link's in the video description. But they're also giving away an £800 voucher to one of you lucky people. All you've got to do is enter through the link in the video description, send in your details. They'll pick a winner at random. We'll announce that on Monday lunchtime. Big shout out to Boohoo Man for that. Don't miss it. You might be able to get yourself something nice. I think some Friday night Ultimate Team on Twitch is needed, says Existence. I've actually just played it, mate. I've just played 2 games quickly at 7 o'clock. Won the first, I was 3-0 up after 20 minutes and he quit. And then the second one I was 4-0 up and it ended up 4-2. So I've just had 2 wins. So I should have done a bit of that on Twitch tonight. But no, after this I'm going to go on the Zoom call with some family members and get pissed. And forget Sir Alex called Jones the new Duncan Edwards, says Dave Not David. Dave Not David, I love that Sir Alex Ferguson said that Phil Jones has got the potential to be the next Duncan Edwards. Because Sir Alex Ferguson is one of the most intelligent people in football. And he knows Manchester United's history. And he knows the talent that Duncan Edwards was. And it just shows how wrong he was about Phil Jones. I remember Phil Jones at Blackburn. He looked decent. He never looked like he was going to be one of the world's best players. But Sir Alex Ferguson brought in Jemba, Oberton, Beppe, Kleberson. What I love about Sir Alex Ferguson is the greatest sports coach ever. He's amazing. What an amazing man he is. And look, what an amazing thing he's done today with Marcus Rashford. The money he's put up to help with the latest venture from Marcus Rashford. He's a fantastic man. But what it does do is, and look, this goes along with, remember that tweet I said when Van Dijk signed for Liverpool? And I said, why have they spent 75 million on the Dutch Chris Smalling? And, Liverpool fans don't let me forget that. But the reality is, and I'm not comparing myself to Sir Alex Ferguson here at all, but what I'm saying is all of us are capable of getting things wrong. And if Sir Alex Ferguson, the genius that he is, can get things wrong, everybody gets things wrong. I've said this before on my Going for Goldbridge videos, and I'll say it here. I don't like people who act like their farts don't smell, because everybody gets things wrong. Respect is earned, but it doesn't mean that everything Sir Alex Ferguson says is right just because of his great record. He will make mistakes, and he did make mistakes, and everybody makes mistakes. So it doesn't tarnish what Sir Alex Ferguson did because he said Phil Jones could be the next Duncan Edwards. It just shows you that he's human like everybody else. Coming to World Beat is a team that plays in a system who all contribute to play, then even decent players can look world class. Build a system, says Angie S. Exactly. That's why I think the right winger doesn't need to be Jadon Sancho anymore. It's taken me a bit of time, but I'm so tired of the Jadon Sancho obsession. And of course, it's probably not helped by the fact that he's been playing shit for the last 6 months, which should be a concern to Manchester United, but isn't. He's not playing well for Dortmund. That is something that you need to take into consideration. I know he's probably very disappointed, but is that the sort of mentality that Manchester United should be attracted to? That since the summer, Jadon Sancho has not played well. Well, United have probably sat there thinking, yeah, it's because he didn't get his move to Man United. But, Dortmund have had a few problems with Sancho. They've had a few disciplinary issues with him. Whether he was right or wrong, they have. He's not playing well at the moment. I don't really understand Manchester United's obsession with Jadon Sancho because he's going to be very expensive. I don't think Dortmund are going to buckle, and we're just wasting time when there is a right winger that we can go. I mean, look, instead of getting Sancho, you could get a right winger, a CDM and a centre-back, instead of getting Sancho and a centre-back. And I think United need to box clever. We're not in a position, like Liverpool could obsess about Jadon Sancho, and Man City could obsess about Jadon Sancho, because they've got a great team, and you're just adding a better piece to your jigsaw. But if United obsess about Jadon Sancho, they've still got 2 or 3 pieces in their jigsaw that need filling, regardless of whether they get him or not. So that previous comment's spot on. At this moment in time, the pieces of the jigsaw are more important than this golden piece of the jigsaw, because we've got holes in our team. 30 million plus Dean Henderson buyback clause for Haaland for me. Their keeper has always been shady, says Fabian. And Eden Visca is 29, says Frigid. There you go. We have got Diallo and we have got Palestri, and I would love one of those 2 players to come through, because it would solve a massive problem for us. But we'll have to wait and see with them. I really hope the fact that we've got 2 of them. I'm not giving you that by the way. We've got 2. I really hope the fact that we've got 2 youngsters coming through, maybe one of them can be, so good that they are fast tracked in. I'm not holding out hope. I think we're going to have to be a bit patient with that. Please smash a like on the video if you're watching, by the way. Let's see if we can get 2,000 likes. You was obsessed with Sancho as well, says Dangerous Gamers. Yeah, I was. And this goes back to what I was just talking about. You've just walked into my trap, really, because I was talking about this about Sir Alex Ferguson, and, Sir Alex Ferguson said that Phil Jones could be the next Duncan Edwards, and he was obviously very, 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 very wrong. But he's still the greatest sports coach there's ever been, because everybody makes mistakes. And I was obsessed with Jadon Sancho in the summer. Of course I was. The videos are there. 90% club is going to be a great player for us. Yep. But you don't stay in 3rd gear all your life. You might drop down a gear. You might drop off a cliff and die. But hopefully you're going to go up into 4th and 5th. And I'm not in that gear that I was about Sancho 3 months ago. I'm not. I'm tired of the deal. I think we're wasting too much time on it, and I always get worried. The things I hear about United, I always get really worried about our incompetent transfer negotiations. And, there are rumours that Ed Woodward likes a big signing. And it just feels to me like we're obsessed with this Jadon Sancho deal, to the point where we're just going to keep trying to do it. And the reality is, we're playing football matches at the moment. We're going to be playing football matches in January and after January. There's a January transfer window there. There's probably a decent right winger we can get for half the price you're negotiating for Sancho, who comes into that team. You forget about Sancho and you move on to the next position. Because where we went wrong with Sancho in the summer was we needed the right winger then. And if we'd got him then, we'd now be talking about a CDM and a centre-back. We're not. We're still talking about Jadon Sancho, and we'll still be talking about Jadon Sancho in the summer. And we still might not get him in the summer, when realistically we should be moving on to the next piece of the jigsaw. So look, I was obsessed about it in the summer, but there's so many reasons where now I'm just like, I'm lost interest in it. Of course, if we buy him, I'm going to be like, yes, I still think he's a good player, but I think we've wasted so much time on it, and I don't think it's worth wasting any more time on it, because I don't think Dortmund are going to change their tact. They need to lower their price by a lot of money. Just because of COVID, I actually genuinely think they've got to lower their price, but I don't think they're going to. I don't think they will. Would you want Lozano here if he was available, says Shannon Sharp? Oh, I'm not sure. I do like Lozano, but I don't think he's going to have the impact I thought he would have done 3 or 4 years ago. Jadon Sancho is Ollie's transfer target. Yes, Rory Stevenson, and you're right to bring that in. You are right to bring that in. Sancho is now a matter of pride than sense, says Emily Derry. And it works both ways, Emily, as well. I think it's a pride thing for Dortmund, which is why I don't see a solution to the problem. I'll tell you what, I just want to say as well, absolutely loving this show tonight. I love the Friday night show. We always do a bit of topical stuff at the start, and then we delve into the questions, which I don't really get a chance to do during the week. Although we are always interactive, of course, but Friday night's just a bit more chill, is it? Somebody did say in the live comments, the 90% Calhanoglu thing, how likely is it? Well, 90%. That's all I can say. It's not from me. I've not spoken to anybody. I'll be honest with you, I don't really talk to many people anymore. The last transfer window just pissed me off so much. I'm like, there's people I almost sort of fell out with, really. I was just like, yeah, I was literally like, I remember one in particular WhatsApping them on the night of the Monday transfer window when we'd finished, and I went, well, what happened there then? Well, I put the F word in. It was, what the F happened there then? ? And they didn't reply, although I saw they'd read it. And I was like, you're not going to reply to me then? You've been messaging me non-stop for 3 months. What happened there? Oh, it's definitely going to happen. They've got the marketing stuff ready. Oh, all I got the next morning was, sorry, mate, I really thought it was going to happen. So did a lot of people in the club. Great. That really makes me feel better. But ultimately, many top journalists, Jadon Sancho himself, Jadon Sancho's agents, people close to Jadon Sancho, they expected that deal to happen as well. It was just a soul-destroying deal. And it's going to take me some time to get over that. And it's going to take me some... You know what? I think the club I'm in now is the hold the shirt up club. I love transfers. I'm a lot older than some of you. Some of you be my age, some of you be a bit older. It doesn't matter. But I remember used to come home from school and go on teletext, which many of you won't know. But basically, we didn't have Sky. We didn't even have the internet. So you used to press this button on your remote control. And basically, it was like this text service. And it had sport, news, weather, etc. And you'd go to page 312, which was on BBC, which was the day's transfer news. And it'd be for all clubs across 3 pages. And there'd be about 5 paragraphs on each page of different stories. So I've always loved transfer news. Championship Manager, I loved it. I love transfer news. I love football and I love transfer news. And I'll love it when the January transfer window opens, and I'll love it next summer. But I think my enthusiasm has been diluted a lot by Manchester United. Not my enthusiasm, but just my trust. My trust and belief. And look, this goes to on the pitch as well. I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right man. I hope these players can deliver as success. Do I believe it? No. This has been a long time. This is 7 years now since Sir Alex Ferguson left. And I don't trust these players. I don't trust the manager. I don't trust the club. Doesn't mean I don't like them. Doesn't mean I don't hope they're going to be good enough. But they've got to earn our trust. They've got to earn our belief. And I think, even to be fair to Ole and to be fair to the players, I thought 3rd place last season was our ceiling. I don't think we can do 3rd place this year because I don't think it's not that I don't think. We didn't add the players that we needed to add. I honestly look at this season and I say we can't finish 3rd. We can finish 3rd, but that would be a really good achievement. We can't finish 2nd and we can't finish 1st. So why have we gone from 3rd to 4th? Why is 4th now our aim when 3 months ago we finished 3rd? And it's because we just... to be fair to Ole and the players, they haven't got the squad. They haven't got the squad to compete with Chelsea and Liverpool and Man City, in my opinion, over a 38-game season. So we've taken a step back from 3rd place. And that 3rd place was very, very good. The players and the manager deserve credit for that. But we've taken a step back from that already. Why have we taken a step back from that? Because of another crap transfer window. Ole needs to focus on CDM. We'll make our attacking flair so much better. We have world-class midfielders and flair strikers, but they falter when tracking back. A solid CDM gives them more freedom, says Angie. You know what? I would ask all of you lot now, if you could parachute one position into United, you don't need to name the player, but if I said you can have a world-class, they can be whatever, they might not even exist, but they're a world-class in whatever position. What position would you go for? I'm going to it's your birthday. Going to party like it's your birthday, right? Okay, I'm going to parachute a world-class player into your team. They might not exist, but they play in a certain position. What world-class position would you parachute into that team? I mean, surprisingly, Choppers said Cam. He must not like Bruno. DM says Race. DM says Jack Cole. Centre-back says B Mike. Centre-back says Caleb. Centre-back says Hamza. Centre-back says Bob Gamer. And to be honest with you, quite a lot of CDMs, mainly centre-backs. Grey Max says CDM. Flex47 says CB. Sunday says CB. KA says CB. Marcus Prussy says enjoy your weekend and stay safe, Maria. Enjoy your weekend, Maria, but I thought you were going to say something about centre-back. I like the way people have different chats in there. Dylan Hopkins says right winger. Striker says Jasori. Centre-back says Jack Moore. Ian O'Neill says Kante, who is a centre defensive midfielder. But the vast majority, I'd say, I'm just going to use my brain here, I'd say 70%, no, I'd say about 60% are saying centre-back and 30% are saying CDM, and then about 10%, well, 8% right winger, and then a few strikers. So it's interesting. I applaud you for that, saying centre-back. I've got no issue with that. World-class centre-back, I think it would make a huge difference. You're right. I've got no issue with that. For me, I would do the CDM. But either or would make a huge difference to where we are at the moment. And notice how it's not a right winger. It isn't. And yet we're trying to break our world transfer record on a right winger. And centre-back and CDM are our priority positions. Can you see the issue here? Can you see why I'm maybe not obsessed with Jadon Sancho anymore? Because in September and August, when we weren't playing games, I thought right wing was the position that we needed. We've now been playing a number of games in the Premier League and new evidence has come around. It's like playing a game of Among Us, isn't it? When you start off and you think it's Sancho's the one that you think is the intruder. It's Sancho. We've now got a bit more evidence. I don't think it's Sancho. I think Maguire's the imposter, and I think McTominay or Matic are the imposter because actually Sancho wouldn't be the imposter. It would be Mata, wouldn't it? Because he plays on the right wing. So I think that the new season has changed my mind, and but it's funny, isn't it? Because if it's true that United are just still trying to break this record to get Sancho, very good player, be very welcome at the club. I would like him at the club, but we are focusing on the wrong position. And maybe Ollie is. Maybe Ollie's still saying to Woodward, that's the player I really, really want. But yeah, I would go CDM. I agree with people going centre-back, but I would go CDM. A world-class CDM would make such a difference to United. We wouldn't have to play two holding players. They'd run that midfield and we'd be a better side for it. Somebody orchestrating the team. But I also think a centre-back would make us better as well, because I think if you had a really good centre-back playing with Lindelof or Maguire, you also wouldn't have to play two holding midfielders. So either of those positions would make a massive difference to us, and neither are a right winger. So it's very interesting. I'll tell you what, everybody, I've absolute Chris Granthwell with the Santa Bridges. Yep, if you're feeling festive, join the members club, get a badge next to your name, and you can use the Santa Bridge emoji. But I just want to say thank you to everyone tonight. I've loved it. The last few Friday shows have been great. I love the Friday night show. So big shout out to all of you getting involved. Some really good topics that we don't normally get into. We could do it again tomorrow night. We could do it tomorrow night as well, Saturday night. That's going to work because we're not playing till Sunday. But I hope you'll have a good weekend, whatever you're doing. I'll be back in the morning at 10 a.m. as usual. But big shout out to Boohoo Man. Remember, you can win an £800 voucher. All you've got to do is click the link in the video description to enter the draw. The winner will be announced on Monday lunchtime. All the details are in the video description. They've also got their Black Friday sale at the moment, 80% off a lot of their items. You can get an extra 10% off with the code in the video description as well. Big shout out to Boohoo Man, but most of all, big shout out to you. And as the Joker 7 says, big thumbs up to the United Stand community. I think we've got the best community in football. Forget Manchester United communities. I think we've got the best community in football. I think we're the biggest, I think we're the best, and that's down to you. So thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you on the next one.